Noon. Action News continues now with Dave Frankel, Rick Williams, and Monica Malpass.
Good morning again. It is 6 o'clock now on this Friday morning, December 6th. On Action News, another death and now an arrest in that devastating apartment fire in Newcastle, Delaware.
Fire and explosion rocks Rockefeller Center in New York City. And the Eagles get hit by a runaway Colts. A sobering blowout in Indianapolis.
Let's check your AccuWeather story, and it is a real doozy.
Do I smell like a wet dog?
No, you don't.
I feel like I smell like a wet dog. All right, let's just show you what's going on. It is pouring out there in some spots. Other areas starting to pick up some snow. Chester County, Montgomery County, Bucks County, and so on. 43 degrees is the airport number. We're going to be adjusting these numbers pretty soon, and you'll see some changes, I think, probably pretty dramatically. Today's exclusive AccuWeather forecast. This should all be over, but unfortunately not till about the end of rush hour, and then a mostly cloudy day, a little bit of sunshine, in fact. 48 degrees by this afternoon. It's nothing more than a memory, but you know what? We have some more memories coming up maybe over the weekend. We'll check the 5-day in a few minutes.
All right, and all that weather's causing some traffic problems this morning. It is a difficult commute in from work or to school this morning. We're live on Sky 6 this morning at a view of the Schuylkill Expressway at Vine Street, and right now traffic seems to be moving all right from this vantage point, but down on the ground, when you're on those roads, you know there is 3 to 4 inches of standing water on many parts of the highway, especially where there's poor drainage. The heavens seem to open up about 3:30 this morning, and police say there are some bump ups, so please take it easy, slow it down. Maybe 45 miles an hour would be smart as the way to go. It is going to be a rocky rush hour. Now let's switch live to City Line Avenue, and again, the traffic doesn't really tell the story here, but you can see the wet roads, and still water is just pouring from the heavens. Be very careful and watch it as you head out this morning. Now you see traffic coming our way from an area right off the Schuylkill at the City Line Avenue exit where there are no traffic lights working, and at least crews have blocked that area as they try to fix it, but 2 lights, very important lights, that are blocked there because there are no lights working. Meantime, switching live now, Collingswood, New Jersey. This is Route 30 and 130 in Camden County, and again, water standing in puddles, very deep water. Rain is still coming down, and there are barricades. You can't see them here, but they have blocked parts of this because of flooding in New Jersey. Obviously, low-lying areas that are typically problems will be problems today, so please be careful. And we have one other trouble spot to tell you about in Chester County. We have reports of some flooding around Route 100 and Route 52. That is near the Brandywine Creek, and obviously spots like the Lincoln Drive and Kelly Drive becoming problems in Philadelphia. Overall, not everyone is having trouble, but just in case, give it some extra time, take it easy, and we'll update you as soon as we hear any other changes and trouble spots around the area. In other news this morning, Newcastle County.
It's raining hard in New York City, and here's where our low pressure is right here. And you can see the precipitation wrapping around it. Still raining hard in Philadelphia. That is getting ready to taper off. But as we take a look at the temperatures, notice it's 41 in Boston, 44 in New York City, 43 in Philly. Albany with the rain and snow mix, 35. So what we're looking at here is rather mild temperatures here in the lower terrain, but with a lot of lifting with that low pressure moving by. The higher terrain picks up 2 to 4, 3 to 6 inch type snow. So as we take a look at our wintry travel map for today, we do advise that you take I-95 today. That'll be the road that'll be looking at mainly rain, but if you're taking the Mass Pike westward, you'll be hitting that snow once you get into the higher terrain west of Springfield. Right now it's raining in Hartford, but with all that lifting coming on by, we are looking for rain to be mixing with some snow, even in New York City before the precipitation does taper off. We're not looking for any accumulations in the city, but in the suburbs, we are looking for several inches of slushy snow. And you know we are in the snow belt there in northwest New Jersey. And again, in the higher terrain here, there will be some heavier snows. And we could even see rain changing over to some snow in the Boston area with maybe a couple of inches in some of the suburbs. Winds, they are really howling now out of the east around the low pressure here, which is on the Jersey shore. Gale warnings applying from the Merrimack River to Sandy Hook. And with all that water coming up through the Long Island Sound, we are looking at some coastal flood warnings here. So time of high tide early this morning, so there's going to be some problems right around the shores of Long Island Sound. So it's a really nasty morning in New York City. The rain is coming down heavily, and the winds are blowing 30, 40, up to 50 miles an hour. So we're looking at a real mess, and the Big Apple could have some more early morning problems. Probably going to see about a ½ inch to an inch of rain in the New York City metropolitan area. That should be tapering off by the midday hour. And it looks like in Boston, precipitation should be tapering off by mid-afternoon at the very latest. Again, rain and then a little mixture in the Boston area, snows up in the hills. So that's the latest on our wintry weather update. And now let's check on the weather around the country. And here's Cheryl.
What's going on out there? We have a flood watch in effect for Philadelphia and the suburbs, for central and southern New Jersey, and for Newcastle County, Delaware. That's for this morning. We also, through noon, have a flood warning for folks in Delaware along the Christina River. Again, that until 12 noon. Well, here's why. Action radar shows us that we have still some heavy cells. You see it flashing up around Trenton area, and then into parts of Burlington County. We have moderate rain in most of the rest of the region where the green areas are, and then it starts to taper off in the blue. Now, go to the regional picture, and you'll see the banding of this thing. Look at the big wraparound all the way out into the Atlantic and then comes down through the Delaware Valley. We'll go back 6 hours and then set it in motion. Here it comes during the overnight hours, comes up. It is heavy. It does look tropical. It's not. It's just a nor'easter. We see now a wind gust clocked down at the shore of 51 or 52 miles an hour, 52, I think. We'll check some of these numbers, and the numbers are changing as the rain continues. Temperatures are dropping, and that's why we're starting to see the snow mix in. But again, that will be ending over the next couple of hours. Easy does it until about 8 or 9 o'clock, and then well, we're not in the clear, but we're in the mostly cloudy. Let's check the call from Accuweather. And it is slush hour for the next couple of hours. Trenton is 7 degrees. That's wrong. Let's get that off of there. Pocono's 32 degrees. They're seeing snow. Allentown seeing snow at 33 degrees. Reading 34. Lancaster 34. Yesterday our high was 45. Today 48 degrees. We're going to go live this morning. Sky 6, Benjamin Franklin Bridge, and it looks like just rain here. Check these numbers out. 38 now at the airport, so that's dropped. Relative humidity 92%. Barometer 29.50. Starting to come back as the storm actually pulls away. Northwest wind 26, gusting to 37 miles per hour. Ocean temperature 46 degrees. Here at the station, we have 37 degrees, 40 in Center City, 42 Camden, and 38 at the airport. The exclusive
around the greater New York City metropolitan area. So we are looking at a rapidly intensifying low pressure right here on the Jersey Shore. Very windy weather around this developing gale center. Winds gusting 30, 40, 50 miles an hour. So gale warnings are flying here. Coastal flood warnings and watches on out here in the Long Island Sound. This is all heavy rain here, changing to snow as it tapers off, and elevation snows moving through the Hudson Valley. Stay with us. Your weekend weather is next.
Over the past 5 years,
breakfast might come in handy because we have some cool temperatures and some snowflakes are flying this morning. Some snow right now for Pittsburgh. More snow as we head over towards Avoca, Pennsylvania, and back over towards Glens Falls, New York. There's been a rain-snow mixture. Pure rain, though, as we head over towards the Big Apple. And that rain's been coming down pretty hard this morning. So definitely a day for the rain gear.
Up-to-the-minute forecasts and comprehensive coverage of the nation's weather from the Weather Channel forecast team.
Thanks for joining us. Mark Mancuso with you here in the Forecast Center. We're keeping an eye on another nasty little storm spinning its way through the Northeast. Yesterday, that storm is making its move through the Midwest, and in America's Dairyland, we saw snow and slippery roads. Right around Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it was a little bit slick there because of the light snow. Did see a couple of inches, but the road crews are out, and they did make things a little bit better for the motorists. Now today, we're looking at that storm kind of intensifying now on the Jersey Shore, and it's a nasty storm as it is producing some very heavy rain, some strong winds gusting 30 to 50 miles an hour in New Jersey this morning, thunder and lightning. Up the road, we are looking at snow. Rain just changed to snow in Hartford, Connecticut, and just up the pike there on the Mass Pike is Jim Cantori. And Jim, we're looking at you this morning, and it's looking pretty wintry there. Give us the situation.
Yeah, it's coming down, Mark. You mentioned we're on the Mass Pike. We're in Blandford. And if you travel out of Springfield or I-91, which is the Connecticut Valley West, in about 23 miles, you'll get up to where I am here at this first major exit where they have a gas station and a food court and whatnot. But it's amazing. I mean, you literally came at mile marker 35 up 6 miles from here, and boom, I mean, we're right into it. If you go down the road a piece, if you can look behind me, all the traffic going eastbound starting to slow down a little bit. I mean, you almost get into what is mainly a rain situation now. But as you mentioned earlier, Hartford's kind of changing over to snow. There may be some vertical cooling going on, so even down the road a piece 6 miles, I'm sure they're starting to mix in. Since we talked to you last, we've got about 1 inch of snow on the ground. There's probably a little bit more water content to the snow now. The flakes are a little bit fatter, so there's definitely some surges of warm air, and the winds are picking up as well from the northeast. But what we've heard with regards to the roads this morning, they are sanding, salting, and plowing all of the major thoroughfares and now the secondary roads. And regarding schools, no closures so far, but they will be making the call on that, whether they be closed or delayed in approximately 30 minutes. Mark, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Jim. And looking at the snow situation there, Jim, we are getting reports of thunder and lightning now in southwest Connecticut and very strong winds. Have you seen any shift in the winds and winds picking up, snow intensity change too much?
Yeah, actually, we have just definitely seen the winds pick up in the last 5 minutes or so, Mark, and the consistency of the flakes has gotten a little bit fatter. Typically, when the flakes get a little bit fatter, there's a little bit more warm air being thrust in the upper levels, and that appears to be the case here. But this is a wet snow, anywhere from 6 to 8 inches potentially, as I'm sure you're mentioning. If there is that much snow, there, of course, is the potential for some power lines and trees. So we'll keep an eye on that for you, Mark.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. And looking behind you there, you can see the traffic moving along pretty good. So looks like the Massachusetts Department of Highway Patrol there is doing their thing, doing the sanding and the salting. And I'll tell you what, that Mass Pike has more salt on it than any road, I think, in the U.S. Okay, let's take a look at what's happening now in the northeast United States with our surface map. There's a low pressure right there on the Jersey Shore. This will be moving its way east-northeastward today, so the wind flow will be coming in from the east and then shifting around to the north and then the northwest after the low pressure moves on by. So what we see right now with that little low pressure on the coast of New Jersey is all the moisture being wrapped around towards the west around the low pressure, and with that storm moving its way east-northeast, a lot of upward motion will be moving across eastern Pennsylvania, southeast New York, and into western New England. So that's why Jim was talking about elevation storm. So as you get up higher in the atmosphere, the air really cooling off. So we'll be looking at rain changing over to snow as we get a lot of lifting in through here. And we're seeing that right now in Allentown, Pennsylvania, Scranton, Pennsylvania. It's snowing pretty hard. We'll see a couple of inches of slushy snow accumulate here. Probably more the same here in northwest New Jersey. Just outside the big city here, there will be snows accumulating. As mentioned, rain changing to snow now in Hartford. Jim, right here on the Mass Pike, looking at some of that heavier snow. But again, with that wind flow coming in from the east, we have the water out here. So what we are looking at is initially rain, especially over southeast Massachusetts and down the coastal plain here. But once you get into the higher terrain and away from the maritime influence, we'll be looking at more snow in the interior. And Albany, New York now cooling down with that wind shifting into the north, and that northerly wind flow is the snow direction for Albany. So a little slushy there in the Hudson Valley, and up in the Taconics and Catskills, several inches of snow is likely. Several inches of rain likely. Southeast Pennsylvania on over towards the Big Apple here into southern Connecticut. Flood watches are out. There's your snow accumulations, 1 to 3, 3 to 6 in the higher terrain. And then as we get you to the winds very strong, right around that low pressure, and gale warnings are flying here, and a coastal flood warning is on out for the Long Island Sound as all that water is coming in at the high tide this morning, being piled up from the east. So this is a vigorous, compact little storm and many headaches for morning commuters, Philadelphia, New York, and watch out in Boston. Okay, that's the latest on this storm.
Friday. It'll be better, actually, fairly shortly. The next couple of hours, things will start to improve and improve pretty quickly once it starts to happen. But in the meantime, we have a mess out there. Action radar will show us we're starting to see some diminishing rainfall. You can see the area still flashing up by Trenton, but less than it was, less intense, and it's starting to get a little lighter rainfall. We'll go to the regional view now and watch what you see here. There's the heaviest stuff. It has now moved across up into northern New Jersey, up across Long Island, and moving toward Connecticut. Set it in motion. Go back 6 hours and watch what happens. There it is. Look at this. The red areas. I mean, that's heavy rain. We're already probably at about an inch or so. We'll check some official numbers for you by later on this morning, and Action News at noon will have those for you. But you see the system swirling away. The good news, it is just about the back edge that you see right there, moving through Wilmington and into Philadelphia. It'll continue to draw away. Low pressure center moves out, and when it does, things will dry out pretty quickly. But in the meantime, there could be a slushy coating in a lot of areas. Even as the rain winds down, the wind has picked up fairly dramatically out there. Very windy conditions. It's a very well organized storm. Not a biggie, but it's a tough one. Let's check the call from Accuweather. For us today, well, glug, glug, the rain continues, at least for the next hour or two. The heaviest rain appears to be over, and some snow mix in now, as we said. 45 yesterday, 48 today. Right now, you see 33 Allentown, 34 Reading, 32 in the Poconos. Those areas picking up snow, actually some freezing rain also in Lancaster. Rain then, where the warmer temperatures are, 38 in Wilmington, 50 in Atlantic City right now, but very windy down at the shore. Let's go live to Sky 6, I-95 near Bridge, and let's check some numbers. You can see the camera getting nailed by the wind. 38 degrees right now, the relative humidity up at 92%. Barometer is rising now, coming back and quickly as the storm moves away. 29.50. Winds are northwest at 26. That's the sustained wind, gusting to 37 at the airport. And again, we had a 52-mile-an-hour gust at the Atlantic City Airport. Ocean temperature 46 degrees. Northeast Philadelphia is at 36 degrees, 37 here at the station, 40 Center City, 39 Camden, 38 at the airport. The exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast. It turns out just to be a brisk and chilly day once this